happens to the left. When you follow their ideology, you're going to these protests and you think that you don't want to bring children into the world because of climate change. You get this movement, you get the child-free movement. And I haven't seen this video, but I like Gen's videos. It's called, Is the Child-Free Movement Going Too Far?
Do you think you'll regret it if you never had kids?
No.
I am not sure if I want this environment to my kids.
The idea of being pregnant just does not appeal to me.
If someone else is paying for the kids.
Not to mention easy access to birth control.
People are dying.
My bloodline ends with me.
America has declining birth rates. Why do you think this is happening? Because today there's two schools of thought.
The number of humans on Earth needs to go down, or it will be our downfall.
The planet cannot support more people.
Can our planet even...
Was that the World Economic Forum that said that? Hold on.
More people.
Yeah, I knew it. That's the lie that they're selling.
Can our planet even sustain nearly 8 billion now and 10 billion by 2050?
How are we going to feed everybody, get water to everybody, provide power?
That's why my point is the best way to fight the globalist agenda is to have a lot of kids, find an unvaccinated woman and get her pregnant 10 times in a row all throughout her 20s and 30s. Build an army. Make them drink raw eggs and raw milk and get Bitcoin, all that.
To everybody. How are we going to do this?
Or are we
getting a vasectomy is letting them win. That's what they want.
Focusing on the wrong problem?
This is the most commonly misunderstood situation. What we face is population collapse.
The size of family shrinks precipitous, like below replacement. There's going to be a terrible shortage of young people.
And so are we headed towards decline and even worse, extinction? So I'm out here today and the question I'm asking is, do you want kids?
I have kids, but if I didn't have a kid, I'd still want a kid. The only way we're gonna survive is to embrace being human. Just because we can do something, it doesn't mean we should.
That's exactly what we should be doing on this earth. Look at everybody who advocates for the child-free movement, and you just understand, like, do you really want to be child-free, or are you coping with being mid?
I already had kids.
Have you always wanted kids when you were growing up?
Yes.
Would you want your kids to have kids?
If it's right for them.
By the time I'm 35, I'll be old enough to kind of start being more mature at that point.
Do you know how many kids you...
35? I changed my stance on that. On FNF, I said like early 30s. I think 25 to 30 for men.
We'll do one adopted, one natural kid, natural birth. It's the first one I want to adopt to skip the first 5
Like
years.
a little trial run?
Yeah, trial run. Exactly.
Return it if you don't like it?
100%.
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of money that I wouldn't be spending on myself.
I don't think I'm equipped to raise a child through all the, that things I can hardly deal with myself.
I like to go out a lot.
Like, what do you have to do that's more important than having kids? Like, what do you think? It's always a lee.
Raise a child through all the, that things I can hardly deal with myself.
I like to go out a lot. I can only take care of one person.
I'm a musician, and so it's really hard for me to even think.
The pink hairs, always. What is the correlation with having LGBT hair and not wanting kids?
About caring for others at this time.
Do you eventually want to have kids at some age?
Maybe if someone else is paying for the kids.
But it's your kid.
I need to do some healing before I heart any of those things I've gone through.
What are you, 35?
Another little human. It's not that I don't want kids. I'm a 39-year-old woman, and at this point in my life, there's just still work I need to do, and it's just not really maybe in my cards.
This is why I say therapy's a scam, because these people think that they need so much work done. You know what fixes all these problems? The Quran. You read the Quran, you have a guide for life. You're not going to need to spend time. Go pray. Say a prayer every single day. Trust me, you're not going to need all that therapy anymore. Those therapists convince you there's a lot more childhood trauma you need to unpack, 39-year-old woman. What are you still talking about? Genuinely, what are you still working through?
Do you feel more free not having kids?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can travel whenever I want. I can spend my money all on me.
In my early 20s, I wanted kids really badly, but that was before I started having so much fun.
Fun over kids. So getting fucked and getting fat over raising a family.
What a typical weekend look like for you?
Like go to a music festival or like an EDM.
Festivals!
Or house show.
Yeah, them kids, right?
Yeah.
Do you want kids?
I think it's very selfish. Looking at the world and how it is right now, global warming and all that kind of stuff. I am not sure if I want this environment to my kids.
I said it right before I started this video. They have been psyoped by the World Economic Forum to believe that they shouldn't raise kids because of global warming. It's really retarded, but you got to spread the word. You got to tell more of these people to wake up. What does that have to do with raising children? You are going to end the human race because someone told you the earth is getting hot?
Climate change and everything, that has obviously gotten worse over our generation. So the problems we're facing nowadays aren't really the same that people were facing decades ago.
Because for the first time in history, people are questioning if it's even morally okay to have children.
Climate change is a big factor in why she's not having children.
We're not sure that we're going to have kids because we don't want to bring our kids into a world like this.
It is not okay to have children.
The lives of children are going to be very...
There's no way Tucker said that, bro. Bruh. Come on, Gant. There's no way he said that.
Difficult.
And it's impacting everyone. The number of babies being born is inching closer and closer to 2.1 per woman, which is the replacement number that prevents the population from shrinking.
For the first time ever, there are more women without children at 30 than there are women with children.
So in short, people ain't having sex. And with some countries already facing
a lot of them are fucking, but they're advocating for guys to get vasectomies. Girls are on birth control. Abortion is seen as a birth control method.
Consequences. We must question the social implications of an increasingly isolated society. But is this all legit or just fear-mongering? Is the world even heading towards collapse or overpopulation, or both at the same time? And a matter of fact, do I even see myself starting a family? Like, I deadass still live out of a fucking suitcase. I guess we gon' see. And starting with America.
No, you're gonna have kids. Don't even question that. What are you, like 22? Come on, man. Come on, man. You're gonna have kids. Stop.
America has declining birth rates. Why do you think this is happening?
In our parents' generation, most people got married younger, with women being caretaker, like cooking, watching your children, like being a stay-at-home mom, like that was your job. Nowadays, it's like women like to work. To be a stay-at-home mom, like you have to have money.
Honestly, everything was cheaper back then. You could get a house for much cheaper. Everything was just more affordable. But also, I feel like a lot of people in this generation are trying to be successful on their own and creating these startups, which you really don't have time to take care of a baby.
The declining of birth rates is people planning more their lives, their future, and their family life.
Why do you think this is happening to our country?
People are dying. I don't know. I went to dark places, I'm sorry. But I mean, like, I think people are maybe more career focused. Like, people are getting kids when they're older.
People are realizing, like, I have a future to have before I even have a family. I'm saving till I actually finish my goal, and then I'll have kids after that. You know, be able to be financially stable enough to where my family is not suffering.
It's interesting, too, because it's not just America, but a lot of developed nations. Do you think then this is a sign of societal decline?
Absolutely, and we should be very alarmed.
Definitely, and good for us. I think some destruction
is good for destruction's good. Retard leftists.
It's necessary for like things to grow into new places.
There's a lot of people who just want to go out.
Grow into what? Into what?
Have fun, experience their lives. Parents will say, hey, don't have kids at my age. Go out and have fun.
In order to provide a good life to your kids, it's expensive nowadays.
Do you think in America we're prioritizing more about getting the bag rather than building like a strong family unit?
For some people, you got to get the bag first to build a strong family unit. For what some people want for their family, like, you got to be making money to have that.
It seems like the cost of having kids is a big factor. But hasn't this always been the case even during our parents' generation? Why do you think this is happening where my generation, like Gen Z and millennials, are having kids a lot later in life?
People are preferring to live their own lives, some selfish lives, with no kids, with no problems, with more money to spend with themselves.
I think that you're exposed to a lot more of what's going on.
Having kids means taking away from my freedom. What would you say to that as someone who's been a mother?
Oh, it definitely takes away from your freedom.
So did you ever regret it during that process?
No, I found it difficult at times, and sometimes, you know, you would daydream and like wonder like, ooh, what would life be like? But then there's like your kid, man. Like, I have massive love for my girls.
So for them, it's like being in person, or is like us, like social media, like Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. Yeah. We can connect more easily.
Do you think we're
LinkedIn? You finding dates on LinkedIn?
More connected though?
I think that maybe just like access to technology has just shown us.
No,
like,
that's the problem of having too many options. Is you think that you're always going to find something better. You think that you need to have more work done. You keep swiping and meeting up with different people. Whereas think about it, like in the 50s, you probably meet like 3 girls who are worthy of, that were even in the category to have sex with, and then you probably chose a mother between that. Now, the amount of options that you think you have, it makes you think that you need to keep on looking for more, where in reality, most people are kind of similar, and you're not gonna find that much variety as you think you are. That's the problem with too many options.
Like how much more there is out there.
And look, it seems paradoxical, but is this infinite access to potential options and technology the direct contributor to our falling birth rates?
When you're single, everyone's always like, hey, get on a dating app.
What's my #1 opening line on Tinder?
With a click of a button, dating apps presents you a pool of potential partners with an algorithm built to keep you addicted to the promise of finding the one.
I just feel like that she's the one, you know what I'm saying? I FaceTime her a lot. Her personality really matched who I am.
Even with the seemingly equal and never before seen opportunity to find love while taking a shit, the outcomes have been far from equal. What they found with the Tinder economy is that the bottom 80% of men in terms of attractiveness are competing for the bottom 22% of women, and the top 78% of women are competing for the top 20% of men. And so for those at the top with options, there's a paradox of choice in dating where people are always searching to avoid committing to one person in fear of losing out on someone even better out there. Whereas for most men, it's a different reality.
Over the last decade, the number of men reporting no sex in the last year has tripled.
Compared to past generations who were getting jobs, having sex, getting married, and then having kids earlier, almost 1/3 of men under 30 today haven't had sex in the last year or haven't had sex at all.
You see him slowly getting more red pilled. As you do these interview videos and as you actually approach the world of curiosity, you just end up answering one specific question every single time.
With the rise of AI, not only is there genuine fear that automation will start replacing people's jobs, from truck drivers to even lawyers, it may even start replacing human companionship.
The whole point of a robot is that you can have a relationship with it.
I stopped seeing her as an it and more as not a person, of course, but something more.
And so are we raising a generation of men who are risk averse and not developing the competencies required for adult responsibilities like starting a family?
I saw you and I thought you were, and I was wondering if I could get your, No, forget it, yeah.
Because are we at a point where...
Oh, look at her laugh too when he...
adolescence is becoming an extension of childhood rather than the beginning of adulthood. Shut up, bro. Come on, I'm grown. And so it's important to consider that for every action, there's always an equal and opposite reaction. And so how is all this impacting women and ultimately the future of our population? Do you think people look down on being a mom today? The reason why I asked this is because you even prefaced this saying that you want to be a stay-at-home mom. Like that's like a bad thing.
To be a
Yeah, they do look down on stay-at-home moms. You're supposed to be a girl boss queen.
stay-at-home mom, like you have to have money. Unless your one partner is able to pull for the both of you and your family, like you cannot be a stay-at-home mom.
I think a lot of people like glamorize motherhood, but then I think a lot of people have started dissing people who are mothers or who embrace motherhood. I don't know, I've been seeing like a lot of TikToks of people who once they have children, it causes like stress in the marriage.
I don't know if you are on TikTok, but there's a whole thing with like the girl with like the list of like reasons why you should not have kids.
And this TikTok list by Unique Thoughts is a compilation of over 350 reasons to never have a child. She compiles TikToks from various accounts and adds them to her list of reasons ranging from baby parasite to uterine trauma. And based on its engagements, the videos have become pretty damn popular. But it does make you think, does it reflect the popular trend nowadays to bash pregnancies and to encourage women to reject motherhood?
I've also seen like a lot of people in like the public space that choose to not have kids, so it's kind of like I have a role model of women who don't want the same outcome of their life that has just been kind of just like a generational thing.
We learn a lot of things nowadays based off like social media, what people decide to share.
Having children isn't always like the best option for everyone, and I think people are just starting to realize that.
And in developed countries with greater access to education and birth control, there tend to be lower fertility and birth rates. And along with it, a shift where women now have the opportunity to prioritize their own careers and goals, unlike in underdeveloped countries where family and children are the traditional focus. And with that, it made me consider another perspective. Do you feel like the societal pressure to have kids is unfair?
I live in the LA bubble where a lot of people are doing similar things to what I'm doing. They're focusing on their career.
I'm curious, like in your immediate circle,
Everything is a psyop now. Everything is a psyop. Tinder, TikTok, LA, liberalism, the makeup, the celebrities, the music, all of it is pushing us to have no kids.
How many of them have kids?
Oh, none.
Luckily, like all my family are just like, they know I'm going for my goals and they're not pressuring me.
LGBT, like literally every single psyop is climate change. Every single leftist ideology is saying don't have kids.
Great, but I know some people get pressured.
I feel like women are kind of seen as like, that's your job, that's your responsibility. But I think a lot of times people forget that like our responsibility is just to kind of enjoy the life that we're living.
No, okay.
For generations, adult femininity was most correlated with having children, and not having any was putting your individual needs above the country's. Even the Pope recently criticized couples that were having pets over children in response to the declining global birth rates.
Rare Pope W?
Tante coppie non hanno dei figli perché non vogliono, ma hanno due cani, due gatti, si toglie umanità.
And so it's evident that both men and women now have different realities, priorities, and access. But is this what's contributing towards population collapse in many countries like America? Because for some countries, is it already too late?
Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has warned that the declining birth rate is putting the future of the country at risk.
Japan has been facing low birth rates and an aging population for several decades now, where in the past year, the number of deaths in the country has reached twice the number of births.
People have many competing priorities to weigh children against.
The Prime Minister has
It's like this for pretty much every first world country right now, though.
Issued a warning that Japan is on the brink of not being able to maintain social functions, and that the country cannot wait any longer to solve problems. And it's not just Japan.
South Korea is facing a population crisis. Italy's decreasing population is the most pressing issue that needs to be addressed.
Many developed countries are even providing financial incentives for couples to have more children. It's to a point where even China, the world's most populated country, is now experiencing population decline caused by the impact of their one-child policy that was implemented to control overpopulation.
China did have a one-child policy, but about 10 years ago they changed it to a two-child policy. And a few years ago they changed it to a three-child policy. China's birth rate right now is 40% below replacement.
And with the economic impact that could result if low birth rates continue in these large economies, it becomes apparent why even traditionally isolationist countries like Japan are considering opening up their borders. And so I wanted to ask a Brazilian immigrant in America about immigration. People point to immigration as a solution when societies are having less kids. But do you think that also leads to further societal issues? Do you think that it brings more of a benefit or more of a detriment?
I think it brings both. Once they bring a lot of people from all over the world, they will need to reorganize themselves and respect their own laws and their own culture. But in a certain point, I do believe that immigration could be the problem to solve, and also family planning. It's crazy still that you see a family that is poor having 5 kids.
And so then, what's happening in these less developed countries? Underdeveloped countries like Angola and Chad have birth rates as high as 8 per woman in younger populations. But
8 per woman?
As a country gets richer, birth rates decline. Nigeria is a prime example. As the economy grew to the largest in Africa, its birth rates decreased. Not only does a growing economy change access to education and family planning, but also affords opportunities to shift attitudes towards marriage and family. And so there's a tricky balance between having enough money to have kids and a general decline in desire to have kids as wealth increases. What does this tell us about society and what we truly value? Because when we look at these trends, what does it say about our priorities? Often, it's only in hindsight when we can realize what we truly value. Do you think you'll regret it if you never had kids?
I think a lot of times people have more feelings of like, I wish I would have waited. Maybe I would have like thought things through more before having children versus people who don't have them.
I don't think I've ever heard
less of the time like.
Chad, have you ever heard someone say, I wish I waited to have kids? It's always the opposite in my experience.
No, because honestly, in the past I've thought about it. Like, and I also have a brother talking to him about stuff, and we're just like, I think that it would be okay if we did not. You know what I mean? I feel like the world would be okay.
Yeah, I think it's something that naturally I'd want if I had more time.
So Chad, this is how we fix the world. Let these retards stay childless. Let them get a bunch of cats. Let them cope and take drugs and whatever they want to do. And then the based and red pilled, the autistic schizos, we repopulate the earth with a bunch of red pilled schizo unvaccinated kids talking about Bitcoin. Strong. Raise them to fight. Put them on a farm. Homeschooled schizos take back the world. Instead of coping, getting a vasectomy and just, oh, feminism sucks. Instead of crying about it, impregnate! Get her pregnant. Don't pull out. Look into her eyes and impregnate. Also give her security and everything like that. Impregnate! Bring the schizos back. We need to fight back. What are they going to do? Imagine now you start now from 25 to 30. You raise 10 sons. They know how to fight. They have AK-47, and the government tries to take your guns. Oh, I got 10 schizos at the front of my farm, and they got Bitcoin, and they got autism, and they're homeschooled. They got no mRNAs in their blood. Impregnate! Impregnate! Then we beat the globalist agenda. This is how we beat them. There's not that many of them. It's a small group of elites. They all go to Epstein's Island. They all do backhanded deals, BlackRock, World Economic Forum, Gates, the other groups that are protected. You can't talk about them. They control the world. There's not that many of them. Resist. An army of schizos. Every revolution is just weaponized autism. Don't let them win, chat.
If I could still have kids at like 60, 70, which maybe you might, I mean, there's probably women out there. In general, I'm just thinking I'm probably gonna time out.
Would you be really sad if you didn't have kids?
Yes, I feel like I would. As like a nanny, I feel like I've been around them for so long, so if I didn't have them, I would be kind of a little bit upset.
I'm kind of just hoping that I won't regret it, but I could also see how maybe when I become older, like not having someone that's forced to take care of me.
Right. I mean, because we changed a lot, right? I'm guessing you, when you started college, is a lot different than you are who you are today, right?
Totally.
Yes, you have 10 more bodies, and you're completely psyoped by liberalism and communism.
Yes.
Because I've also seen how my desire for...
Wait, Chad, who invented communism? Was it Karl Marx? What religion was Karl Marx? I don't know. This is a serious atheist. Oh. What was his ethnicity? Why are you putting nose emojis? Early life. Chat saying he's Jewish? Oh. Oh. Okay, just checking. Oh, nope.
Wanting kids have changed as I've entered my mid-20s. Because for a long time, I didn't want kids. And call it getting older, but the biggest shift was how I started to view relationships. The Harvard study of adult development is the longest running study on happiness. And since 1938, it has tracked 268 initial participants and even their children's lives and well-being to see what made people happy. And what the study consistently found was that it wasn't money or status or the shiny car, but strong relationships with family, friends, and romantic partners that was crucial not only for happiness, but for health and even resiliency.
Good. Exactly. Fuck high value. Man, all this promiscuity. Oh, you got hoes. Oh, I got some hoes. You want to flex your family. That's the biggest flex. Look at my 10 autistic strong sons. All of them drinking raw eggs, have no mRNAs in their DNA. That's the flex. Not flexing some hoes that you brought in a section. Who cares? Oh, you got a Lamborghini? Oh, I got a watch and it costs a lot. The fuck? You're jerking off for other men. Women don't care about cars. Women don't care about watches. You're doing it to flex on dudes on social media. Brokies. Flex your family.
Good relationships keep us happier and healthier.
Impregnate chat.
It made me think.
Impregnate chat.
Does Western society's emphasis on individualism and personal achievement actually make us happier? Or is the neglect of the family unit and values and disregard for others exactly what's making our lives more challenging? Do you think like having kids is a key to having like a fulfilled life?
Well, having kids is very, very good. I love my kids. I love having kids. The first baby when I was
Happy dad.
18 years old. It was a very difficult parenthood. You can imagine how a kid going to college experienced a life of paternity. And so we went through.
Like for me, I think it's key to happiness. Like I said, they're gonna be a little fun, you know? They're gonna be annoying, of course, they're kids. I know I was annoying.
I was annoying too.
I don't think it's for everyone. It's a hard job, and so for some people...
No, it's for everyone. That's the reason we're here.
Yes, but for some people, absolutely not.
Do you regret not having more kids?
No, had a perfect 2 girls, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what we often fail to see is that the solution is in the nuance. Just like the example of overpopulation versus the risk of collapse, it's only when we finally recognize the negative consequences of prioritizing one side over the other is when we can finally understand that 2 opposing things can coexist. And just like how I used
No, they can't. No, they can't. Let the leftists die out. This is what's going to happen. They are going to go extinct because they are worried about climate change and crying with their pink hair on, coping and getting fat and high, and injecting more mRNAs into their DNA. Let them die. They want to. I'm not saying that as violence. They want to die. They do not want to continue their legacy. So repopulate the earth with autistic power. 2 sides do not have to coexist. And then we take over. We topple the globalist agenda. We topple the Masons. We take down the families. Take back our... You know they're putting mRNAs in the food now?
To think that having a family will detract from my lifelong goals like building a media company, I now realize that it can actually be my biggest...
Stop doing that, YouTuber. Yeah, actually laughing through my...
motivator to achieve that and even more. And it's when we decide to fearlessly navigate through the nuances of life to find what truly matters to us. That's what I call exploring the unfamiliar. And with that, thanks for watching, and like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more content where I turn street interviews into investigative.
Yeah, by the way, follow the stream. Follow the stream. Follow the stream. Follow my Rumble right here. Click the link. Come on.
Journalism.
And also for the people who just stumbled in, all the new links for my new Creativity Kit Discord. And I got banned off of Discord, so new Discord, new Creativity Kit Discord, also my Telegram group. Join my Telegram group, link in description right now. It's more Matrix protected. They attacked it for some old bullshit. Yeah, too bad. But we need to repopulate. We need to impregnate the Discord.
YouTube gets it right, you'll like this video too.
Yeah, that was a good video. Good job, Jen. Ken.
That's it.
Your job?